there's really no reason not to, is what I'm kind of getting at. Like, and I'm glad he did it, because that class could have gotten out of hand.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so
with 20 people, they're all ready to socialize. It's Saturday morning. You know, everyone's going to brunch afterwards, so they're all chatty anyways. You really got to have control.
You got to rein it in.
Everything that's going on. So things still have to be fast paced. So they don't have lag time. You know, and then, like I said, you're not calling a million reps, so they're just getting tired and bored and exhausted going through a million reps.
Alan, serious, you got to give me an action.
Just clap.
Just
and say
clap
action.
and say action. Good. All right. Cool. Tough. You're tough, Alan. You're tough. All right, guys. Welcome back to Jerk Block Talk. I'm Jace Fernandez here with Zoe Young, and I wanted to. First, we wanted to get a shout out. It's an unpaid sponsorship. I'm not getting anything from Aaron except for a sweet haircut. If you guys haven't been to Lion's Head Barber down here in Virginia Beach, go see him. He'll cut you up nice. Zoe's been getting a lot of compliments on his haircut at work lately, so. But anyway, so I wanted to get on camera with Zoe to discuss a scenario that popped up last weekend. So the scenario is, you have like 25 each, about those classes roughly.
8 a.m. was 20, 9:30 was 22.
Yeah, so that's a hefty class. Even if you're a pretty experienced coach, like once you push past the 15 mark, that can be challenging to get eyes on everybody. 20 is a lot of people. 22, 25, that might require an extra set of eyes. And I wanted to talk with Zoe because we as a staff have talked about this, but I don't think we've covered it on the show. Yeah, I don't think so. So I'll kind of let you walk through the scenario and then what you did, and then we'll talk about kind of like why we discussed that and what the value of that is. So.
Okay. So this is actually the second time this has happened, and I got some feedback the last time I did it, and applied it this time, and it worked out fabulously. So having a ton of people in the class, like Fern said, it's hard to get eyes on everybody, especially when they're spread out across, how long is this gym, 60 feet? Or
no, it's 100 feet in the end.
100 feet, yeah, so
60 feet wide.
60 feet wide, all right. So you got athletes spread all over the place, going over movements such as barbell movements that require a lot of focus on movement and stuff like that. So
I think both times you've done this, there was it snatch the first time and then clean and jerk, or clean the second time? Either way, it was heavy barbell work for.
So going through progressions during the class, and ton of people, I didn't feel like I was capable of giving everybody the coaching they needed during that specific portion of the warm up. So I just pulled. Was it you?
Yep.
The first time?
Just me the first time. You did it better.
So Saturday classes are usually pretty long. You got a lot of people. Everybody comes to throw down. Almost all the coaches are here. So I had multiple coaches in my class, and I just pulled Fern aside and I said, hey, I'm going to call the reps. I'm going to do all the walking through the progressions. Can you watch this side of the gym for me? Give them cues. I'll watch this side. Worked out great. He came to me after class and said, hey, Cassidy was also in your class. You should have just pulled him aside and like, hey, you watch this side, I'll watch, Fern watch this side, Cassidy watch this side. You walk through everything, call all the reps, and we'll do all the coaching. That way it runs smoothly. So the second time, this last weekend, I applied the same thing. I pulled them both aside and said, hey, can you watch this side? Cassidy's got the other side. I'm going to call the reps. You guys get some cues and pointers for me. And it worked out great. Felt like it went super smooth. We got eyes on everybody, I'm sure, and there wasn't any, calling a bajillion reps so I could get eyes on everybody throughout the progression.
Yeah, it was an appropriate amount of reps because you had an appropriate number of eyes on the athlete. So at that point, like if you're looking at 22 people, we'll call it even and say now each coach is only responsible for 7. So the class was kind of split in half, this end and that end. Cassidy had this end, and I was on the back end over here, and then Zoe's just in the middle calling reps. So we each have about 7 people, which is very manageable. But it was also super useful because we had some
Brand
new folks
people
in there. We had some literally brand new people, like literally just finished up fundamentals that were in the class, so they know a little bit, but it's still a super intimidating environment. And that way we were able to give them a lot of focus during the class where I can stand with that new athlete, but still kind of cue the 5 or 6 people that are in my direct line of sight, like adjacent to me, but not really stray far from the new athlete. And then Cassie's doing the same thing on the other side. And I thought it was super beneficial, but I wanted to bring it up because, and I'll get your feedback on it, but like my question is like, why wouldn't you do that, right? So it kind of, I guess maybe it sucks if you're a coach in the class, you're trying to warm up, but like whatever, dude, like it's not that big of a deal. Like you'll still get warmed up, but I mean like, there's really no reason not to, is what I'm kind of getting at. Like, and I'm glad he did it because that class could have gotten out of hand.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, so
with 20 people, they're all ready to socialize. It's Saturday morning. Everyone's going to brunch afterwards, so they're all chatty anyways. You really got to have control.
You got to rein it in.
Everything that's going on. So things still have to be fast paced. So they don't have lag time. And then, like I said, you're not calling a million reps, so they're just getting tired and bored and exhausted going through a million reps.
Yeah. So, it turns out to be an appropriate amount of reps, that there's appropriate amount of coaching going on in that scenario too, because it was double unders, power cleans, pull-ups. Yeah, double unders, power cleans, pull-ups for a 16-minute AMRAP. So, even with a decent warm-up, you have 22 people with bars on the floor. That's a lot of ground to cover. Like, even if you're really, really good, that's super tough. So, I wanted to bring it up because if that's something that's not on your mind, maybe it should be if your gym's starting to grow, you're starting to get larger classes. I mean, I'd be shocked if you had a class of 22 people and you didn't have another coach in your class. I think that would be weird. I don't know, maybe that does happen, but I feel like that would be a weird scenario. Feel free to pull one of those people out, be like, hey, for the next 5 or 6 minutes, I'm going to call the reps so that we can stay on pace, but I'm going to need you as another set of eyes, and then give that coach the authority to coach in that scenario. So we've done other videos, we'll link up, I'll link it up here, where we talk about like, as a coach taking a class, you don't intervene.
Yes.
Unless that scenario comes up.
And that's a good point. One thing in hindsight that I wished I had done was notify the class that the other coaches were going to be walking around.
That's a good point. Yeah. That way they know. Because
So then otherwise it could almost be the same situation where that way I'm still in control, I'm still the head honcho, but I'm delegating authority now to my other coaches, and it's important.
Well, but going back to that, again, always thinking about worst case scenario. If we're talking about like I have new people in the class, if Zoe just pulls 2 random people out, or there's 2 people that are just walking around the class, 2 people so we had, I think there was at least 2 new folks in that class, both of which knew me, but they may not have met Cassidy yet. Like they probably had, I'm pretty sure they had, but let's just say they hadn't. Now they're like, who the fuck is this guy talking to me? Like, who's the coach? So that's actually a good point that I didn't think about. Like, so you might want to try that too. But yeah, like think worst case scenario. Like the new folks who are in there, they should know. Like they may not know unless you guys wear uniforms at your gym. Like that might be a thing. Some gyms it is, some gyms it's not. But now they know, and that's just a real quick like, hey guys, I'm gonna pull Cassidy out. He's gonna go to that side. Fern's gonna take this side. I'm gonna call the reps, and now everybody in the gym is on the same page. So if that's something that's starting to pop up pretty regularly in your gym because you're growing and whatever, like consider pulling a coach out of the class to help you facilitate some coaching. Some gyms do have multiple coaches on the floor. You may not, like that's a whole other aspect from a business end. Like, do you have the revenue to cover that overhead? that's a kind of a rabbit hole. But let's say you don't have multiple coaches on the floor, you should use the people that you have at your disposal to help you do that. Just make sure they're coaches. I wouldn't pull like randoms out just because they're good athletes. That's probably not a good idea. They need to be coaches in your gym. So yeah, I wanted to get Zoe's perspective on it and have him guys kind of walk you through that, because I thought it was super important. But more importantly, I thought it went really, really well. Like in a huge class, everybody's fired up, everybody's ready to go, but it still went very, very smoothly. There was a lot of coaching going on. You have 3 experienced coaches on the floor. One's calling reps, the other 2 are just making sure people are cleaning up their movement as we went through. So think about it. If that's not happening in your gym, hopefully it will at some point. You get more crowded classes and you can start to facilitate that. Don't be afraid to pull people out and have them help you. I wanted to bring it up because we had talked about this prior to, and I said, hey, don't be afraid to pull another coach out of the class and say, I need your help in order to make this thing move a little bit faster. I mean, I did it yesterday for Jess where like the class was running a little bit late, so I just literally popped out, grabbed the next class, started that brief, so that when I handed them off to her for the follow-on class, like everything was on time. So, it's a teamwork thing, right? And everybody pitches in and it works out. So, yeah, you got anything else on that?
No. Having the 2 coaches was great. The first class, 8 a.m., Nicole was here, thankfully, so she took half and I took half. And then when you guys showed up for the 9:30, I was like,
yeah, like this is easy.
More eyes, this is way better.
That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. If you have any questions, guys, please put them in the comments. If you like this content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Peace.
Action. Oh, man.